I hope I show some promise.
I do have some questions for you, however.
The fourth episode of Picard's third season brings a resolution to the first arc of the story. But what if I were to tell you it brings a resolution to something else? Something much, much older. Something we never knew was left open. What if I were to tell you that one choice, over 35 years ago, led to our valiant crew of the USS Titan A surviving these seemingly impossible odds? And what if I were to tell you that we owe everything to Q? My friends, this is the end of the beginning. Before we travel back to how it all began, let's recap the events at the end of No-Win Scenario. Our plucky crew was trapped in the dying hull of the Titan, the Shrike on the hunt, gravity of a nebula pulling them ever closer to its center. Hope seemed in even more short supply than the energy reserves on board the ship. Well, except for the completely independent holodeck system.
It relies on a small, independent power cell.
But perhaps this power cell was indeed a metaphor, because our heroes found the hope that they so sorely needed, and a daring plan was put into action. Using their experience and knowledge to pull together, the Titan's crew deduced that the nebula was something more, something stranger, something they were tasked with seeking out all those years ago.
To seek out new life and new civilizations.
The nebula was indeed a celestial womb, and children of some unknown beings were about to be birthed into the cosmos. Throwing caution to the wind, our team turned death into a fighting chance to live. With a plan that would make the Silver Surfer take notice, they turned their ship into the energy waves of the creature's convulsions and rode them to freedom. Not even the fearful Shrike was a match for their renewed determination. And the Titan burst forth into open space along with the countless children of the nebula. Reborn with the hope and purpose set to them all those years ago as Starfleet explorers.
To seek out new life.
As the ship regained power and set a course for home, even Riker's nihilistic outlook and bottomless emptiness seemed to be replaced with a renewed wonder over what the universe can provide.
We witnessed a kind of birth here, and it reminded me that there's a whole universe out there, and it can be beautiful.
But this would never have come to pass without one series of events almost a lifetime ago. The year was 2364, and the newly christened Enterprise D was on her first mission of exploration.
Stardate 41153.7. Our destination is planet Deneb 4, beyond which lies the great unexplored mass of the galaxy.
This was during the golden age of Starfleet. Nothing was beyond their power. There was no problem that could not be overcome. There was no corner of the galaxy that could remain unexplored. But then, something happened. Someone happened. The sometimes scary, all-times tricksy, omnipotent entity himself, Q, came into the picture, and nothing would ever be the same. There have been countless tales and theories about the nature of these beings, about how the Federation owes everything to them for the knowledge of the Borg. This is not a story about who or what the Q are, but about the simple test that one Q, our first Q, and dare I say our favorite Q, introduced in the very first adventure of the TNG crew. Upon his unexpected appearance on the bridge of the Enterprise D, Q accused humans of advancing far too quickly and with no regard for others, that by expanding into the stars we would spread war and hatred, that we, as a species, were both too dangerous and too unprepared for what lie in wait. After quite the exchange and a trial for the fate of all mankind, it is decided that the site of Farpoint Station, the intended first destination of this voyage, and where some of the crew currently reside, will make for quite the fitting final test.
Yes. This Farpoint station will be an excellent test.
Without going into the complete tale, the station turns out to be built entirely on lies. The incredible powers of this facility are not what they seem. Using the investigative skills of his new crew and their varied multicultural abilities, Picard finally deduces that the Bandy Society has captured an alien life form, the type of which Starfleet has never encountered before. Using the metamorphic abilities of this being to create seemingly magical effects has given this backwater world a chance to be thrust into the limelight of the galaxy. But that is not the Starfleet way. That is not the way of this new crew of the Enterprise D. They assist this glorious newly discovered life form in regaining its freedom and reuniting it with its mate, to boldly go wherever they may go. Q, having been satisfied, tells our gang that they have passed his test this time, but he shall return. His return is not what matters. It is the fate of these cosmic jellyfish that connects everything in poetic symmetry. You see, by facing this test of Q and solving this riddle, our band of intergalactic explorers followed the mission statement of Starfleet to the letter. They truly sought out that new life, and in doing so, saved themselves. It is my belief that the children of the nebula seen in this latest episode of Picard were in fact the offspring of those two wayward celestial jellyfish. Had the Enterprise crew fallen for their baser instincts, had they not followed the true creed of Starfleet or the Roddenberry ideal in that first adventure, they would not be here now. In rescuing these two beings, they essentially provided their own means of escape when those very same creatures reproduced in the Riton system just in time for the events of this story to unfold. This is the true majesty of the universe. This is why Riker has his groove back. This is some damn fine poetic full circle stuff. But what do you think? Is that what they truly intended with this storyline, to connect Picard so fully back to those early days of TNG, or am I just completely overthinking a glorified Easter egg? What do you think? As always, like, share, subscribe, do all those splendid YouTube things. And until next time,
Get off my ship.